Dave here, Half Dozen Customs, back out in the shop this evening. Earlier today we sprayed some white on the valve covers and air cleaner, and I'm going to start the artwork. Got some tape laid out here on my little cutting board with some random stars drawn out, and we're going to cut these stars out. This is called Better Days. This cutting pad, you can pick them up at office paper clips or office clips, whatever the office store, hobby stores have them, and it's just it's a cutting board. They're soft. You can cut on them with the razor blade and you won't cut through them. I mean, I'm sure if you push super hard you will, but no need to push super hard. You're just trying to cut through the tape. And they work perfect for like basically cutting out stencils. A lot of times I'll print something out on a piece of paper and I'll put tape on whatever it is that I'm painting, and then we'll tape the paper down over it, and then I'll cut through the paper and through the tape, and then when you peel the paper off and you peel the bits of tape off that you need to peel off, you have your stencil on there. We don't need to do that this time. I also have the plotter, which I think we've ordered some stuff to get it connected up to my computer, and we've ordered some smaller stencil stuff just for testing, but we haven't really played with it too much. It's just kind of sitting there. We'll get it figured out eventually. And you know, if we had it all fired up and it was easy to use and whatnot, and I really liked using it, I could have just printed these stars out on that. But I've been doing it like this for years, where I just make my own little stencils. So for now I'm just going to continue doing that. We're going to come through and cut out these stars. I don't know how many I need. I'll probably cut through like half of these, and then we'll see where we end up on those three pieces. And if I need some more, I have them all already drawn out. So just random stars. I'm not looking for anything symmetrical, or I'm not looking for perfection. I think the look that I'm going for, perfection is not what I'm looking for with what I have pictured in my head. So I just want a star, and I want them kind of randomish, I guess. So I'm gonna grab a valve cover here. I need a paper towel to pop this cap off. I use a paper towel because I don't know if my fingers are dirty, and we're working with white here, so which I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm about to tape on it. I did clean my hands before we started this, so, but I've touched stuff like my phone and this board, and so we're just going to start with, I'm just going to do a random curved line here. Make sure we leave enough to get into the crease as well. So, this is what I'm doing. I'm just doing off the top of my head, excuse me, off the top of my head. I have something pictured. Again, I'm not looking for perfection. You know, if you want perfection, go buy a sticker. This is all about artwork, and like I said, I do stuff like this on the fly. Usually it's just spur of the moment, random stuff. I need a little break from daily life, so this is perfect for that. Voila, a star. Ta-da! You guys even see what I'm doing over here? Did I just GoKart right in your way? And of course, you know, I set my phone right here so that I could take pictures, and I already forgot. Helps if you don't drink a cup of coffee before you do this. I'm already a shaky person without a cup of coffee. Glad we drew out more than just a few stars, because what I had originally thought it was going to take, it's definitely going to take a lot more. Which is fine. I'm probably going to have to draw out some more. So I don't know if you guys can tell by what I'm doing, what my plan is. I don't think I'll tell you yet. Let you guys figure it out. If you haven't figured it out yet, keep watching the video. Okay, let's try not to bang this thing off of everything. Or drag the razor blade across it. And I totally lost a piece of the star here. Missed this cut. So the plotter's nice at this part because the plotter goes through and it cuts everything for you, but you still gotta go in and pull it all apart, which takes time. There's a term for it. I can't think of it at the moment. And they actually make tools for it. It's supposed to make your life easier. It's basically the same thing as using the tip of the razor blade, but it has a handle on it. And I just cut through the top of that star. We're gonna put a little star in here. Okay, so I looked at the pictures and you know, front of the motor. So we're gonna try and, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to be a perfectionist here, but I'm gonna try and kind of follow what I did on the other one. Close enough. Not perfect, but close. Close is good enough for me. You gotta make sure when you're putting this tape down, and you're going over these little ridges and little bevels, you gotta make sure you're not pulling on the tape when you go through that. Just kind of let the tape hang in there and smooth it in. Because if you're pulling, this tape, it's a vinyl tape, it's kind of rubbery, and it will pull itself back into its original form. And then you'll have a little air pocket that goes underneath, and when you go to spray the other color, you'll have a little overspray line in there. Now, you know, I've tried to lay it in there and push it in right, and I can still see it's lifting up in some areas. It is just a problem that us painters have. It'll get a masking tape around the one side when we go to paint this. And that masking tape should help hold it down. But before I go to put the next color on, I'll make sure everything's pushed down really well. And I'll have to try and do that as well, carefully, in between each coat. Now I probably will still end up with a couple of little spots. And, you know, if it bothers me that much, I'll have to come back with a little piece of tape and touch it up with some white. I may just do it with the paintbrush, may do it with the airbrush, but I'll have to come back and touch up a little bit, just to, you know, get rid of that little bit of overspray. So let's get back to cutting some stars. Now, I'm not going to try and place the stars exactly where I had them on the other one. I mean, I could, but I don't think I'm gonna. I'm just gonna randomly stick them on there. This chair's starting to hurt my butt. just to make sure. Ah. Okay, I miscounted the first time there. I had the first 48, I guess. But that's it. I have all 50 stars on there. If you guys haven't figured out what I'm doing yet, stick around. Okay, I'm gonna go set you guys outside so I don't get overspray all over the cameras. I'll see you when all the blue's on. Okay, so I put 3 coats of blue on. And I don't know, I've only let it sit maybe like 10 minutes, and we're gonna unmask it. We have to very carefully unmask it, and the reason I unmask it this soon is because if we wait overnight and we let it dry, or you let it dry a couple hours, and the paint becomes hard, for one, you're going to have hard edges everywhere that the tape was. If you pull it while it's still kind of soft, it gives it time for that edge to kind of flatten out and lay down. But also, like when you go to pull it off, some of the paint may come off of the tape and stay on the piece. So, and then you got this like flake of paint that's still attached that you got to go and try and clean off with your fingernail or with the razor blade, or you know, sometimes you know, just a tack rag works, but you know, it's just an unnecessary occurrence. So if we try and pull it while it's still semi-wet, there's a less chance of that happening. So and this is still tacky. It'll take a fingerprint. You gotta be careful with it. You can pull paint off. You can scratch it, especially when we go to try and take the stars off, because you gotta go in very carefully with the razor blade and pick up the edge. For somebody like me who's awfully shaky, and I tried to keep the edges pushed down on this where it was coming up, but it was still popping up on me. So I can tell you right now, there's going to be a couple spots that we're going to have to touch up tomorrow with white, unless I can hide it in the next color. I may wait until until we get the last color on, to actually go through and do the touch-ups, because there might be touch-ups in the other color as well. I said uh-oh because I had a little spot of paint pull off over here on the edge, which, if you remember before, this was chrome, so there must have been an area that was not scuffed well or sandblasted well. Okay, not too bad. Little bit of a touch up there. We had some paint chippage there. We'll touch that up. Got a little overspray there. And then there's a little chipper on this side, which we'll touch him up. Like I said, there is another color coming on here, as you guys can probably guess what color that is. So depending on where, now I don't want to put the next color on and put it over these chips just because I'm trying to hide them. I want them to look properly, so it'll probably get the colors here, so that'll probably get touched up, but this blue spot here will probably get covered in red. This spot over here will have to get touched up. This spot over here may get covered in red. So So yeah, so we'll see, you know, we'll see what I come up with tomorrow. And then I'm thinking just right now, I'm thinking we'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. But I'll probably take some of my House of Kolor's White pinstripe with my pinstripe brush, and I'll probably go around each star with my brush so that they look like they're hand painted on. And it'll clear up any funky edges. There's a couple of spots where the stars actually the tape wasn't stuck down all the way, so a little bit of blue got underneath. Just on a few of them, like him, got a little bit there. And with going over it with the brush, I can cover some of that up. And then we'll come in with the airbrush and everything will get shadowed and shaded to make it look like it's a rolling flag. So I got some of my pinstriping enamel out from House of Kolors. This is white. We are gonna attempt to kind of like, I don't know, hand pinstripe, hand letter, however you want to look at it, around these stars. For one, I would like the stars to look a little bit bigger, so if we go around the outside edges of them with this brush, it'll make them bigger, and it's going to give it more of a hand done look than a stenciled look. I say attempt. If this stuff dries really fast, like on my pad of paper here, on my brush, if everything dries really fast, then we may have to wait for it to cool off a little bit. So I did do, there was a couple of spots that needed touch up where the paint chipped up when I was peeling off the tape, due to probably poor prepping on my part. But I just touched those up with the actual base coat. Now base coat's different than pinstriping paint, but it was drying before I could even get it off of the brush. So I'm not sure how this is gonna go. And this blue, when I was doing the touch-up, the blue still seems like it's a little tacky. A lot more tackier than the white, that's for sure. So if this starts to like lift or pull any of the blue, you may have to stop for that reason as well. So there's 50 stars and there's 10 swipes per star that I gotta do. So this is 500 swipes of the brush. This is gonna take me a little while to do. So we will be speeding this up and editing for sure, because I expect this to take me hours to do. So far it doesn't seem like the paint's drying up on me yet, but I am seeing the blue pull a little. I said, I think it's so humid out here that this blue did not cure overnight. So that's the one that I just did. You can see how much bigger it got, and it kind of gives it a hand done look, rather than the stencil, which I think is the look that I'm going for. So, and the whole reason behind doing this is, like I said in the beginning, make the stars look a little bit bigger, and give it that hand done look. After I got everything untaped last night, after spraying the blue, I don't know, to me it just looked like the stars were just a little too small. So that's what gave me the idea to do the little pinstriping around it. Make it a little bigger. And I really like the hand done look. I've been doing it for years. My skull work, I'll go in and airbrush a whole skull out, and then I'll go through with the brush afterwards and do the details in the brush, and it to me, I think it looks better, and it really changes the look of it. You know, especially when you're coming in, when you're doing stencil work and you're coming in afterwards with the brush, it really takes away from that stenciled look. Some people like that stenciled look. Me personally, I think it looks better when you have the hand done look. It's just preference, I guess. Okay, got those three done. I don't know how much detail you guys can actually see out of the camera or not, but you can definitely tell that they have some hand done I don't know, features to it. The reason I decided to come in today and do the stars instead of the stripes, like I said yesterday, I thought that the stars looked a little small to me, and I didn't want to add the next color and have the next color be like super out of place compared to the rest of it. So, you know, I needed to be able to judge the size of what I'm doing next off of what these look like. You know, I don't want giant stripes and then these little itty bitty stars. So come in, add this to the stars, and then I can kind of get a better judgment of the next step. I can definitely tell the paint is thickening up fast. Okay, that actually went a little faster than I thought. But I still have another valve cover and air cleaner to do. But I went around and pinstriped each one. Now remember, I just cut those stars out of tape, so each star is different. None of them are perfect. It was the look that I wanted. Remember, if you want perfect, go buy stickers. Touched this guy up too. We had that little chip down here. I touched him up as well. Okay, I got that guy all done too. I think I'm happier with the stars being just a little bit bigger. You know, it may not look like much, but you know, it's probably, you know, the pinstripe on one side of the star and pinstripe on the other side of the star, it probably made it an 1/8 inch bigger all the way around. So and I like the hand look done. Yeah, I think it looks good. I got all the stars done. Went a lot quicker than I thought. I don't know, I'd say it probably took me about 2 hours maybe. So now we're gonna tape off some stripes for the next color. So hopefully here shortly we'll be spraying the next color. One down.
One pussy willow.
camera was off again, but I think we got everything the last round, because I swear when I got up the camera was still on. So all we got left to do here is the stripes on the air cleaner and get him taped off, and then we can start spraying the red. So it started, I got up, I went outside, I had to take the flag down. It was really thundering out. I was able to get the flag down in time, but It's really raining out now, so it may get noisy in here. So I did 50 stars on here, and I really wanted there to be the 7 white stripes and the 7 red stripes, 6 white stripes for the 13 colonies. And it just wouldn't have looked right. The stripes would have been, you know, twice the size that they are. I think it would have just looked funny. So there's 4 on here. And then there's 3 on each valve cover. So, you know, stand on the driver's side, there's 7 reds. Stand on the passenger side, there's 7 reds. You look at it from the front, well, then there's more stripes than. But it's only way I could do it to where I felt that it would look right. I think it would have looked funny with 4-inch red stripes on there, or 4-inch red and white stripes. I don't know if you guys can hear that rain out there, but it's really going. Hopefully, so we don't have too much paint peelage when I go to untape this guy. You know, we had an area peel off last night, and I expected to do it again around this outside ridge for sure. I think I should have put the adhesion promoter on before I put the primer on, but I didn't. Normally primer's direct to metal, so I didn't want to put something in between the two, but this being chrome, it's problematic piece of metal. A little ice flicker in there. That would put a damper on tonight. A little pre-cleaner since I had my hands all over everything. gonna spray light dusting of some adhesion promoter on it. Just because, you know, they say that you got about 8 hours before you have to scuff it again. I don't want to scuff it, so I'm just going to put adhesion promoter on it. Gun. Still has blue in it from earlier. Some red. This is not my normal paint. It's just something that I had left over. And I don't have a lot of it, so let's hope that a little bit goes a long way. So same as the last couple days, I'll spray one coat on and then I gotta put the cameras away. So here we go with the one coat. Oh, you know what? I gotta fire up the compressor. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed that a little bit goes a long way. Okay, it's really raining out, so it's probably just as loud in here as it is with the compressor running. We got one coat on there, it's looking good. I think I got enough for a couple more coats on there. So I'm gonna shut you guys down, put you over on the other side of the shop, get you away from the overspray. I'll be back when it's time to untape. Okay, so I put 3 coats of red on. I've let it sit probably about 15 minutes or so. Now we're gonna untape it, and hopefully we don't pull paint everywhere. Woo! It's like unwrapping a Christmas gift. I only have one little spot so far, fingers crossed. Couple of little spots, not bad though. Next. Ooh, I feel a cold breeze coming in. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. Couple of spots touch up on that one. That one's a little bit of a bad one. I'll probably end up wet sanding him down and respraying that. The other ones I think are okay just touching up with the brush. So a couple little spots touch up, not bad. It happens. It's poor prep. You know, I'm doing this pretty fast, and like I said, these are probably going to end up just hanging on my wall somewhere. So I wasn't really trying to, you know, spend a week doing these. So far I just got hours in it instead of days. Got to be careful with this piece too, because he was chrome. Okay, so that's it for me tonight. I'm gonna let this stuff dry overnight. Hopefully with this storm coming in, it's gonna kill some of this humidity. I can feel the cold air blowing into the shop, so hopefully it'll kill some of the humidity and this stuff can dry a little better than it did last night. There's a few touch-ups to do, nothing too bad. I got a couple of overspray spots, a couple of spots where the paint peeled up, all on an edge or around something where I wouldn't have scuffed really well, which I know better. I know I should have scuffed those areas the best. But not bad all in all. Tomorrow I'll come out, I'll do the touch-ups or repairs that I need to do. I think a couple of the overspray spots I should be able to wipe it with some pre-cleaner and they'll come off. A couple spots I may have to hit with like a little bit of 400 and I bet they'll come off. A couple of the thicker spots I'll have to hit with some 400. I'll wet sand out that one spot around the PCV valve. I'll wet sand him out, probably with my airbrush. I'll blow in a little bit of white there. And then I'll add some shading and some shadowing. And she should be ready for clear. So tomorrow we should be clearing it. Let's get to work. Let's see if we can get some of this cleaned up, touched up. There is one spot over there that peeled up last night that is a good spot right around the PCV valve. I know I said last night it was poor preppy, but it also could have been, being the PCV valve, it could have been really oily right there. I did clean it in the parts bin, and I did throw it in the sandblaster, but it's not to say that, excuse me. It's not to say that it didn't leak out from underneath that PVC boot. So that's a good possibility. I didn't even think of that. The wife brought it up. So, but I'm gonna sand that spot down, and we're gonna blow some more white in there. Probably use the airbrush to blow that in. A couple of red spots with overspray. I got my wet sanding bucket out with a little 400. It's 3M 400, and we're gonna see if I can wet sand a couple of the overspray spots off without damaging the white. So sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you can't. So we're gonna see if we can get away with it. Being white, it's kind of questionable because it's possible that it may turn the area pink, and then in that case we will be spraying a couple more areas than just the one, and that's why I want to try and see if I can get these cleaned up now, because if I got respray white in a couple of areas, I'd rather figure that out now than later. So I am going to wet sand these. I'm just dipping in a little bit of water here. And I need a paper towel. Out. Messy over here in this corner, but some of this is restocking the shop, but a lot of it is that Jeep. It's all the products for the Jeep that I ordered, and they finally showed up. I still have a few more things to order, but yeah, it's all products for the job that I'm working on right now. I do have to put them away, but I have not gotten to that yet.
Dip, tighter chip, dip, dip, tighter chip, dip, dip, tighter chip, dip, dip, tighter chip.
Be very delicate here and just hit where the red overspray is. I don't want to make a big mark here. So I think he cleaned up good. I can see that I took a little too much white off there, but with the shadowing and the airbrushing, I can make sure I put some shadowing there, and that'll take care of that spot. So I think this piece is done, except for there's a small touch up here and there, which I'll get when I'm doing the touch ups with the brush. Bring this guy in. He's got a couple of little red spots as well. Looks pretty good. And it looks like I changed the white there a little bit. I may hit that with just a little brush touch. Okay, he's gonna have to be resprayed, that guy, but at least maybe knock the hard edges down so you don't see that there's a tape line there. Hopefully, maybe. Now let's see if we can, let's sand this out. All I'm really trying to wet sand out here is the edges of the paint, so when I respray it, you can't tell that there was a giant chip missing. So I'm just sanding, I'm kind of feathering out the edges. Okay, so I got that feathered out. I got a couple of the red spots to go away. So we're off to a decent start, better than what we left off with last night. Let me get a brush and some touch-ups. We'll do the couple of touch-ups, and then I'll get the airbrush fired up. Luckily, my compressor don't work on Wi-Fi. So we did go out this morning, and we got all the paint for the motor. The only paint that I was not able to get was the ceramic coating for the headers, the fireproof paint. They were all out of flat black. So I did not get that, but I got for the block, the intake and the transmission. And then I got new engine stand. So I'll be doing a video later of assembling the engine stand. So I use a very, very fine-tipped, delicate brush for doing touch-ups, so I can just concentrate on the area that's needed. I'm not getting the paint all over the place. Very important when you're doing touch-ups on actual vehicles. You can just dab it just in the chip, and then you get a couple of coats in there, and then you dab some clear coat in there, and you dab a couple coats of clear coat in there, and then you can You can usually wet sand, do a little wet sand and buff, and it comes out nice and flat like the rest of the vehicle. So if you're careful enough. This stuff, since it's in the base coat, when it gets cleared, you'll barely be able to see it, especially since these are solid colors, no metallics. If you had metallic in there or pearls or anything like that, you would definitely see it. But being that these are solid colors, once they get clear coated, they virtually disappear. I mean, not 100%, but they're pretty close to disappearing. So you won't be able to see that the color's off. What you might see is when you look very carefully, you'll see the imperfection in the paint. Where if you were working with metallics or pearls, you actually see the different color in the paint because the paint changes from being sprayed. I mean, you can change the pressure from 10 psi to 20 psi, and it'll totally change the color. So just imagine putting it on a brush compared to being sprayed. It definitely changes the color. But being that these are solid colors, most of them you won't even see. We got all the blues touched up. I don't think we have anything in the red to touch up. It's just the blue and the white. So we'll clean the brushes. We'll clean the brush. I got that lacquer thinner under my ring. He's good. Let's see what we got here. Make sure my fingers are clean. One thing you gotta be careful about in doing these touch-ups is that if you're touching up, like right now I'm touching up some of the red overspray, and we'll actually pick up some of the red in the brush tip. So you gotta be careful when you're going to, continue on with your brush touch-ups. That you're not actually turning it pink. Water drip from me wet sanding. Onto this one. Picked up a little red on my brush. airbrush there. That guy I was planning on airbrushing in there, but I think I got him good enough with the brush that we won't have to. But this one up here, so I think that's all the touch-ups that we got to do now. I'll clean out my brush. And get out the airbrush. Okay, airbrush I haven't had out probably about 6 months, I'd say. Where put it? Okay, got the airbrush out. I got Old Trusty out. This is one of my most favorite airbrushes, but this thing, like, I had it for a long time, but it was pretty much brand new out of the box. The part that the bottle plugs into came separated from the rest of the airbrush, and I was super gluing it in there for a long time, which worked, but every time, well, not every time, but every so many times that you cleaned it, the lacquer thinner destroyed the super glue and it would pop back out. So the last time I used this, about 6 months ago, I actually roughed it up with some sandpaper, put it in the vise, and I soldered it in with the torch. So once I sanded the chrome off, it was copper underneath. So I was able to heat it up with the torch and drip some solder in there. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the last time I used it, it worked. So we're going to try it. It's a Badger airbrush. Those are my favorite airbrushes, but they are a little on the expensive side. I also use Pache. Pache brushes are very good brushes, and they're on the cheaper side. A lot of the Pache airbrushes that I have, I've gotten them from Hobby Lobby, and I've gotten them on clearance or closeout sales, you know, and picked them up for like $30. So you know, if you watch out for those sales and you can pick one up for cheap, I, you know, definitely get one. I get them if I come across them. I've got a few of them. Even if you don't get them on sale, they're a very good airbrush. You know, if you're first starting out in airbrushing, that's what I would suggest you get. Is, you know, go to Hobby Lobby and pick up a Pache. Depending on what model you get and what kits you get, you know, they could be anywhere from, you know, I don't know, $60 to you know, all the way up into, you know, 100 and something. But definitely worth spending the extra few bucks. I have thought myself of getting like the ones on Amazon, where they come with this like carousel and you can plug in. It comes with like 8 airbrushes or 10 airbrushes, and it's on this carousel, and the carousel actually plugs into your airline, and then each brush on that carousel has air to it, so you can have 8 colors going around and just pick up each one and not have to, you know, change out the bottle and clean the airbrush in between each use. I thought about getting those. They're really cheap. I've yet to get one. It's actually on my list of stuff to get just to try it. But I figured for the price of them, I think they're only like 30 or 40 bucks for that set with the carousel and like 8 brushes. It's worth trying. And worst case scenario, even if the airbrushes suck, you have that carousel. I think that carousel is worth having that, worth spending that money. I would love to be able to just pick up airbrushes on the fly and go. We do, maybe we'll do a YouTube video on it, but we do Christmas cards every year. Last year we did an old pickup truck with the Christmas tree in the back, and it's all hand airbrushed, all hand drawn out, hand airbrushed. And I have multiple airbrushes going at the same time. It's kind of my wife's thing. She loves to do them, so I just kind of help her along the way. I hold the stencils and keep the airbrushes going and cleaned out for her. So I know what it's like to sit there and have to change out your airbrush every time you need a different color. So I think that Amazon one is pretty nifty. So I'm just covering up some of this red so I don't get any overspray on it. Being with the airbrush, I'll be very light and delicate with it, but no sense in taking any chances. I'm just very lightly gonna go over it with some white. Ever so careful. So, all touched up, all gone. And with sanding it out, you don't see any of the edges or anything like that. So, it came out there with a perfect touch-up. So, it only took a little bit of time. Here, so let me show you. So, so we sanded him out. He was right there. You can kind of see the red on the tape there. So he was right there. And then if you go over to this one here, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but right here on the edge of that bracket was one that I touched up. I touched him up yesterday. So now when it's cleared, you'll barely be able to even see that, especially like after it gets shading and shadowing. If it gets a shade or a shadow in that area, it'll even hide it even more. But you can still see that paint edge. And that paint edge, you most likely will see it. Even though the color's right, the edge is still there, you're gonna see it. So, but to me, I don't, I'm not worried about it, but you'll see it. And that's the difference between just doing, a basic brush touch up to actually sanding out your chip going back, putting a little bit of tape, and blowing it in with an airbrush. You know, it's touch up to no touch up. So, and you have to, if you're doing, I should have dumped the paint back in there. If you're doing airbrush touch-ups like that and you're working with a metallic or pearls or anything like that, it won't work. The color will be completely different. The metallics being an airbrush, the tip and the needle are so fine, it traps some of the metallics in there. It's sprayed at a way different pressure. You're going to see it every time. So if you're doing touch-ups like that with metallics or with pearls, it has to be done with the spray gun that you use to actually paint it at the same pressure. You cannot change anything from how you painted it originally to the touch-up. It has to be done exactly the same, or you're gonna see it. You can't fine-tune in your spray gun and just blow in that little area. You can't. You would have to fully tape out that red stripe on each side and come back in and completely respray where that white was for you to not see it. You can't brush touch it, you can't airbrush it, you can't fine-tune your gun in on it. It has to be sprayed at the exact same technique as you did the first time you sprayed it. So metallics and pearls are definitely a lot more trickier of a repair that you have to do, so just be careful. Still able to be done, just would take longer, more of a process. So what I would say is when you're working with pearls and metallics, don't mess up. But like you know, like working with metal, you know, I find paint to be very similar. It's always fixable. If you make a mistake, you know, you can always fix it. You can always pull out a dent. You can always add a piece of metal. You can always add a new weld. You know, it's the same thing with paint. You can always go back and touch it up, respray it, or you know, if you're working with artwork like this, there's, you know, if you know what you got going on ahead of you, you know, there's ways to recover, you know, to cover it up. Like, you know, yesterday, you know, I had a couple of spots on the white that were blue overspray, and I just so happened I was able to put the red stripe over that, so it was hidden, so it got covered with the red. So I didn't have to go back and repair that blue overspray or anything like that. I just laid the next color over the top of it. So you know, there's always tricks and ways to cover it up. You know, like, you know, there's a couple of spots on here that still you know, need a little attention, but I'm going to come in with some shadowing and shading. Now, shadowing and shading, it's kind of transparent. It's not like you're putting a solid color over it, but it'll help hide it or draw your eye from it, so that you're not seeing the mistake. You're seeing the shadow or the shade. That's what your eye sees. It's what your eye's drawn to. So you know, the mistake may still be there, but most people won't see it because they see the shadow. Now we're going to come in and we're going to do these shadowing and shadings, and I'm going to try and make it look at all possible. Hopefully I'm gonna kind of try and make it look like the flag is rolling. Now this is not my first rodeo when it comes to doing American flags or flags at that you know, flags of any kind. I do a lot of patriotic stuff. I do a lot of American flags, a lot of POW stuff. But usually it's like, it's on it'll be on a motorcycle or something smaller in nature. I mean, I know this is kind of small, but it'll be just like a little flag blowing on there, and it's an actual flag. It's not like the whole piece got painted like a flag. It's an actual flag. Like there's, I know it's on Instagram. There's this Harley that I did a couple years ago, where I did the four guys planting the American flag in. It's a real famous heroic image that's it's real, but you know, it's a very common image that's out there. I did that, and those American flags, they kind of tell the story of where all the shadowing and shading's got to go when you're doing it. This one doesn't have that, so I'm just kind of winging it. That was the whole point of that long story, was that I've never done anything quite like this. Like, I've never painted an entire gas tank to look like an American flag. So where to put the shadowing and shading, like, I don't know. Like, when I do a little flag on the image, an image of a flag like on the side of a gas tank or a fender or something like that, like, I put the rolls in there, and you know where each roll is, that it needs some shadowing and some shading, so it makes it a lot easier to accomplish what you're looking for than I guess what I'm doing here. It's my first attempt at actually it's my first set of valve covers that I've ever done, let alone my first American flag on anything as well like this. I've done a couple of air cleaners before, but I usually just make them match the car. Never done any artwork other than maybe some pinstriping or the name of the vehicle. Like a long time ago, I did a Berlinetta one, and it had some pinstriping on it and said Berlinetta. That was when I was really young, and you know, the guy was super happy with it, but now looking back at it with what I've learned over the years, like, you know, it wasn't the best. So now, do I have some black somewhere? That is a good question. This is House of Kolor Black. When you're doing the shadowing and shading like this, you kind of want it over reduced. Well, not kind of, you do. You want it over reduced. But last time that I opened this, it was like syrup. Not even like syrup. It was, I must have made a mistake, and I used some of it, and I don't know that this is what happened, but this is my guess. I used a reactive reducer on accident. I grabbed the wrong can, and then when I was done with it, I dumped it back in here, not knowing that that's what I did. And when I came back, it was like half hardened. It was like curdled almost. So I dumped a bunch of reducer in there. I mixed it up, and it's been sitting in the cabinet since then. So I don't know if this stuff is going to be any good or not. Fingers crossed. I definitely wouldn't be putting it on a customer's car, that's for sure. I should myself a little more room to mix some paint here. I really need to just order some more black, but the Monte Carlo's going black. So very shortly I'm going to be ordering a couple gallons of House of Kolor Black. So, as I was saying, I'm not going to order a new quart of black because I have I have 2 gallons coming soon. And this stuff is definitely not any good. For sure. If I can get my shadowing and shading out of there, then we're good to go. That's all I care about. Like I said, it's got to be over reduced as it is anyway, so fingers crossed. Do we get a little black out of here? Yeah, it looks like it. I think we're okay. So, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I guess so. Let's clear some of this stuff out of here. I just want to give myself enough room in there to be able to go around both sides without getting it all over the next part. So I have, I know that the flag's kind of flowing like this, so we want shadowing and shading going this way over everything. So and a flag blows in all directions, so it doesn't necessarily have to stay that general area, direction. It could flow up in all different kind of directions. What I'm saying is I have a direction that I want to go. And when doing this kind of stuff, be careful not to shake your airbrush too much, because if you start dripping black paint out, you're screwed. guys are still here, right? Piece. I'll bring that other one over here. Just so I can look at it. Try and get them somewhere in the same. Now you have to be careful once you get this airbrushing on here not to touch nothing, scuff nothing, wipe nothing, because you will wipe that black right off and then it's ruined.
Ruined.
It's ruined.
Ruined.
That's it. We're ready for some clear coat. after I take some pictures, and I'll show you guys as well over on the stand under the light.